Hi everyone, my name is Eva Dennis, and the go-to strategy I chose to share with you all are word/picture banks. And I chose this strategy because I see it utilized a lot in my field placement. I have multiple ELLs speaking at different languages, different skill levels, and they actually have their own personal word and picture banks in their desks that I see them pull out and utilize a lot during subjects and throughout the school day. In my poster that I made, I have each of the teacher actions on one side and the student actions on the other, which is from the article and just explains how it's used. Like, the teacher will encourage students to use this for academic vocabulary when speaking and writing, how teachers use it to model, like an example in a notebook or a binder. Show students how to use the illustrations, because if you don't explicitly show them, they're not going to understand how to use it. Direct students to periodically review these notebooks or word banks, because this can also just be helpful to utilize in all subjects. And then students are also held accountable for collecting or referring to their academic targeted vocabulary based off of a certain unit. They also will use a variety of strategies to make the vocabulary comprehensible for them. Students will return each word bank for frequent use and review the meanings of the words. So, as again, like I said, the students in my placement all have their own personal word banks that they return to when they need it. And periodically, a student will review and edit the collection of vocabulary, either adding new words that they don't know or taking out words that they may have already mastered and skilled and replacing it with new words. This strategy is a valuable tool to ELLs because it provides visual cues and supports their vocabulary as they're trying to learn English language, and it allows them to learn and remember their own vocab based off of what level they are at personally. And having the word banks easily accessible to them allows them to use them more frequently, providing visual support, vocab building, writing support, and differentiated instruction. This strategy is best to use during any time throughout the day. Having it readily accessible for students is crucial and important. If you don't have it accessible to them, they're really not going to find it important or useful, when in reality it's very useful because it has pictures and words based off of their skill, and it's best to utilize during ELA, writing comprehension, structured periods, even just talking with students. In my placement, a lot of the students, if they don't understand what's going on, I'll just say, take out your word bank and point to wherever the word that they're confused. Some misuses of this strategy can be not appropriately implementing the vocabulary and pictures or words that they need to support a skill, as well as not having it readily accessible to students, because if it's not readily accessible to them, they're not going to be able to develop and learn the new vocab, and they just won't think about using it if they're not reminded sometimes, or if they're not These are two examples of word banks. Some teachers do them differently, have different themes based off of the module or lesson. Like this would be summer, spring, or they could just have everyday use, like backpack, teacher, friends, pencil, bus, school. These are all would be implemented in their binders at their desks for them to go, and if they are stuck on a word, they can point. They have the spelling, the picture, and all of that. This would be an example of how you can implement it in the classroom by having a sentence. This would obviously be a lower grade level, but you would have a sentence starter or a sentence stem for them to use, and then students would be expected to go to their word box and choose based off of the picture, like a noun, an adjective, or a verb. For this first example, the blank is blank. It says the noun, so they'd be like, oh, that's a dog, noun. Or an adjective, the dog is fast, and they would write it here. And that concludes my presentation on the go-to strategy of word and picture banks and how it's implemented for ELLs in the classroom.